Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bill. I just ran a Call of Cthulhu adventure this week, and it was one that I randomly generated online, and this will be the recap of the adventure thus far. Only had 2 players for this adventure, and we started with the notes that I had from my random generation online and what characters they wanted to play. I gave them a random character generator also from online and told them to generate them a random character that they want to play, so keep going until they find one they really want to play, and then take a picture of the top of the character sheet and the bottom. That way they have the information they need. If they want to change any of the information, they were like background, name, occupation, they were allowed to just keep going until they found one they wanted. It created some interesting skill selections for some of the characters, really high in certain areas I didn't expect to see, so it's very interesting to say the least. I started with one of the players asking him questions about his character and getting some general information about him, where he's from, what he does, his credit rating currently, and what reason would he have to be, well, the first guy was a big game hunter, so what reason did he have to be in the area that the game was supposed to take place in? And I came to the conclusion that somewhere in Canada he was moose hunting, because the last big game he hunted was moose. So that played to my advantage there, because he picked that without me really going into a lot of details, just asking him questions about his character and what he hunts. The second player, when I did the same thing, he said he's probably up there fishing. So the second character is a naval sailor, and I said he was on leave. This is a 1920s Call of Cthulhu game, so where am I going with this? So he had leave, he went up to Canada to go fishing. They're both on the same ship in the Atlantic as a storm kicks up. While that storm is raging, they are on this big cargo ship. What did I call the cargo ship? I got my notes with me, I just need to look around. The USS Imperial Observer. And it's a big cargo ship, and it has a bunch of passengers on it also making a trip down south. I believe I said their destination was New York, and it's a slow-moving cargo ship. I didn't get into major specifics about the cargo ship, so I'll probably do that before the next game. Go do a little bit of research, get me a map that I can use for the players. But only one of the 2 players had a private room. It was small, of course, but he had his own private room. The other player was sleeping on the deck with a lot of other passengers. I had them both roll randomly to see when events started to involve their characters, and they both rolled the same night, so that was interesting and made it kind of knit together a little easier. The first guy's awoken during the middle of the night, and it's the big game hunter. He's in his room. Somebody is banged up against his door. He hears some shouting and some swearing in Japanese, and when he opens the door, he hears a thud before he opens the door, and then he sees this big by big I mean very overweight, Middle Eastern guy who's been socked in the face and is stunned on the ground, and this normal sized Japanese guy that seems to be pretty fit, swearing at him. When he asks him questions, he is told that the big man accused me of stealing. I want him to leave me alone. And then he walks further down and out of the corridor. The big game hunter wants to see the area of the crime, so he asks the Middle Eastern man to show him his room. The Middle Eastern man tells him the story that he left a stone object on his table in his room. It's a little statue, and I sent them a picture of the Cthulhu statue. And when he was out doing stuff, when he was on his way back to his room, he saw this guy leave his room, and when he entered, the statue was gone. So he followed the guy, and this altercation happened. At this point, they hear a loud pop noise and then a weird screech that causes the Middle Eastern guy to pass out. And everybody had to make saves versus becoming temporarily deaf for a few hours. And I believe both of the players made the saves. So what was going on above deck involved the other player. He's awoken to something. He's not sure what specifically awoke him, but in a lightning strike, he sees this gargoyle-ish like creature, wings, pretty tall, about 10 to 15 feet tall, and has tentacles for the face, and it is eating. He can hear bones being broke. It's eating one of the passengers, and the passenger is not awake, or not screaming or anything, so it dispatched the passenger pretty quickly. So he pulls out his revolver, because the thing ended up being like 17 feet away from him, and starts firing at the creature. Creature turns to attack him. He manages to unload pretty much the whole revolver into the creature, killing it as it hits the ground. It had him in his mouth when he unloaded the whole revolver, and it dealt bite damage to him, almost killing him. And he unloaded his revolver, killing it, and it fell to the ground, dropping him onto the ground and knocking him out. He had 2 hit points left, and he failed his save versus the fall. I gave him a save to try to get angled in a way so that he wouldn't take the damage, and he failed that, so he's unconscious. At this point, the other player has arrived and saw the final moments of that creature. Creature hits the ground and begins slowly decaying, and I should say rapidly decaying, but slowly in the sense that it takes 30 minutes for the creature to kind of just disappear. So the sailors of the ship are alerted to what's going on. They bring the rest of the passengers below deck to protect them from anything else that could be out here. They've never seen anything like this. The captain is very weary of what's going on. He ordered his sailors to arm themselves. Some of them have pistols, some of them have a few rifles. The big game hunter convinces the captain to give him one of the rifles with some ammo. So now he has more ammo than what he would have had with his weapon. They take the injured character, the big game hunter stitches him up, and I texted the player that got stitched up. I texted him later that he has this gnarly looking bite scar on his torso that looks like a shark bite, and he has all these suction marks on his skin that are bruises that would heal in about 2 weeks, getting darker and worser first before lighter and slowly fading away. So he now adds a permanent scar of this bite on his torso. So he is taken to the room where the big game hunter is staying. He wants that guy to rest there. When he comes to, he wants to ask him questions. The captain wants to ask him questions too. He asks the captain if there's a medical facility and if they have morphine, and he gets the ship doctor. They go wake him up. The captain goes, wakes him up, and has him go with some morphine to the player that's unconscious's location to apply the morphine. And when he comes to, the captain's going to talk to him. Meanwhile, the big game hunter goes to the Middle Eastern guy's room, and I think we ended right there. And that's what happened the first game. So next, I need to work a little bit more notes up and figure out what craziness they're going to get into now. Until we all game again, guys.